breaking news here on your podcast.
Breaking news, awesome. So we'll get more information and share it out to the community. Hi everyone, this is your real estate expert Juliana. I am thrilled to have with me the former Lieutenant Governor of Massachusetts and the Mayor of Worcester. He is now the President and CEO of the Worcester Chamber of Commerce. Let's welcome Tim Murray. Good to have you with us, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, Juliana. Good to be with you.
Okay. How is the family?
They're doing all right, like everyone else, hopefully getting back into a routine with Omicron, COVID-19 fading. Thankfully, we'll slowly get back to normal, both in our school with kids and in our work lives.
Awesome. Today, our topic is on Worcester then and now. And you're going to help us understand Worcester and what your take on what's going on in the market now. But before we start, we want to know, who is Tim Murray? Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Well, I was born in Worcester and lived here my entire life, except for 4 years in New York City, where I was a student at Fordham University in the Bronx. I attended law school at Western New England University, and while working, I got involved in politics, running for the city council, later mayor, and then serving and running for lieutenant governor, serving alongside Deval Patrick. And I married a woman from Worcester, and we've got 2 daughters who are in high school in the Worcester Public School.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. So we will jump right into it. How does the chamber influence the city?
Well, first and foremost, we try to represent the interests of our chamber member businesses. We have over 2,000 chamber member businesses that are part of the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce. 80+% of them are small businesses, probably 10 employees or less. So we run programs and events to try to help them be more successful and profitable as businesses, so they can employ people and reinvest into the community and their businesses. We also represent the business community at City Hall, at the State House, and in Washington, to make sure that the Central Mass business community, the city of Worcester, they're heard and represented when elected officials and people serving in government are making policy and decisions.
Awesome. That's good to know. And what is the city doing to support small businesses as well? The city of Worcester, do they have anything to help support small businesses?
Yeah, well, we work closely, with the chamber. The Chamber of Commerce works closely with the city, on a regular basis. But certainly during COVID-19, we work particularly close because so many businesses were impacted in such a significant and negative way. And one of the things that we really did at the chamber, we opened up our services to non-chamber member businesses. But we were able to get the information from Washington as it relates to the Paycheck Protection Program. We were able to get information about some of the state programs out to the business community, answer questions, make referrals, guide people and businesses through the process. And to the city's credit, they also put together a small business grant program, which we were able to help get the word out, get input on. And so they work to do that. And I'm glad to say that with the most recent allocation of American Rescue Plan Act money, the city is also, City Manager Augustus recently indicated that with the council's support, that another $2.5 million in grants will be available to small businesses. They're working out some of the logistics and criteria for that program, but we look forward them announcing that and getting the word out to business that there will be some additional assistance, because during the Omicron surge, we know that businesses that was just coming into recovery were set back.
Okay. All right. So they didn't roll it out yet, but it's going to be coming out soon.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you very much.
breaking news here on your podcast.
Breaking news, awesome. So we'll get more information and share it out to the community. The next thing I want to ask you, with the ongoing Worcester Development, and what do you foresee for the city of Worcester?
Well, I'm optimistic. I think the city will continue to grow. It has historically been a city that's been welcoming to immigrants from all over the globe as a place where they can come, feel welcome, find a home, and find a job and a pathway towards the American dream. So I hope we will and continue to be that type of destination. Similarly, I think people in suburbs and between here and Boston are increasingly seeing Worcester as a place for entertainment, for restaurants, to take part in the cultural scene, and to work and to live. And so that means the city will grow in population. We grew significantly just over the last 10 years. Our population is now 206,000. Wow. And with that come challenges. There are many good things that come from that, but there are challenges. And we need to continue to build housing, high-end housing, market rate housing. We need affordable. We need more affordable housing. So we need housing of all types. And the Chamber has been working to bring in developers in all of those categories to invest in Worcester, and some already have and have projects underway. And there are others we're looking to bring along after.
What are some of the projects that are on the way now?
Well, a couple of the projects around Polar Park. So we were involved with all three developers that are building market rate, high-end, and affordable housing. The Table Talk site, the factory that exists right now, will be the process will begin to tear that down, and that will become affordable housing. It will be built over 4 phases. Next to that, on Green Street, the former Sir Morgan's Cove property, that will be a couple hundred units plus of high-end market rate housing. And then over across from Polar Park in the old Wyman Gordon area, there'll be nearly 300 units of market rate housing as well.
Awesome. And when you say market rate housing, is it going to be rentals or condominiums?
They'll all be rentals.
They'll all be rentals. Okay.
But you raised a good point. And again, breaking news on your podcast, Juliana. Stay tuned. The Chamber is going to be issuing a report soon, kind of a comprehensive study in programs that exist at the state level that might be an incentive for developers to build condominiums, because home ownership is really important in terms of building wealth for individuals and families. And condos are a way, perhaps affordably, we can help do that.
Okay. So you're putting together help for developers.
It'll be a report that will talk about the history of condominium development in the city of Worcester and some of the different types of condo housing that exist, kind of the price points involved, because we think that context would be important to a developer or a bank that might be financing it. And there are also some new government programs that exist to maybe incentivize a developer to build condominiums that are affordable for first-time buyers and things. 60% of the people in Worcester rent, and that's kind of on the high end, and 40% in their homes. We want to grow that level of home ownership because that's one of the elements of the American dream, people building wealth, being able to have a nest egg for retirement or funds to send a child to college. So it's an important piece of how you have a successful, vibrant city and a region and economy.
Okay, that's awesome. What I realized lately from some of the builders and developers that I work with, they are concerned that the health department, the code department, is giving them a hard time in getting building permits now. It never used to be like that. So I don't understand why they're making it difficult for people to get building permits.
And that's the type of thing that we do for our member. We have a position here, the Vice President of Government Affairs and Public Policy. So if we have a chamber member business that's having an issue or problem, oftentimes we can pick up the phone and try to get it looked at or expedited, and make the bureaucracy sometimes work. And if it's a matter of the staffing, the building department not having a proper staffing, we can talk to the counselors and managers and say, because the city's growing, because it's a place where people are investing, we're taking, there are more building permits than usual. So maybe you need to hire some additional staff so that we can process these in a more timely manner. Those are the types of things that we do and get involved with in conversations that we have, on almost a daily basis.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard 3 builders complain that it's taking so long to get a building permit, and it was never used to be like that. So hopefully I can get you more information to help us on that. The next thing I want to ask you is, what programs do you know of that helps in Worcester that helps promote home ownership? Because most people are being priced out now, and it's like you can't get closing costs because of multiple offers. People used to make an offer, ask for closing costs back, and now you can't get closing costs. There's not enough programs for home to help people with down payment assistance. So almost a lot of people are being priced out in Worcester, and the bidding wars are getting crazy. Is there any program now by the city to help first-time home buyers with down payment assistance and closing cost help? Do you know of?
Yeah, I think someone from the city could best answer that, but I will tell you this, that there have been programs like that in the past that the city has run, and conversations are taking place as we speak with the city council and the city administration about potentially using some of the American Rescue Plan Act money that the city received. I think it was $120 million, to use portions of that in the ways that you just described as a way to promote home ownership. So that is something that's being looked at and contemplated as we speak.
All right. So Worcester is hot. So you see it going up? Because we see the market going crazy, like 2022. We are worried if we're ever going to have enough houses to sell. The inventory is very low. Yeah,
that's true. And that's where, our work around condominiums, trying to bring in more developers. We did a very detailed housing study in 2019. The Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce paid to do that. And Juliana, it said we need housing of all different types. And that's market rate, affordable, workforce, and we need to create more home ownership opportunities and rentals. The condos are also a piece of the puzzle as it relates to home ownership. I mean, there aren't lots of open tracts of land in Worcester that are developable for new housing, but there's clearly opportunities to convert housing, industrial space, or office buildings. We're seeing that take place downtown, and some of the older Class C, Class B buildings being converted into housing. We want to see, and as that goes forward, more of it around home ownership, owning a condominium or your own home.
Awesome. We are Century 21 XSELL Realty developing a seller kind of rebate to give back to sellers when they list their houses with us, because there's so much shortage in homes. One lady told me yesterday that in the town of Mendon, there's only one single family for sale. And it's crazy. Do you have any information into how we can get more houses? Yes, that's our side, but I'm just asking. Yeah.
Well, again, at the state level, there's a talk about how to use some of the federal dollars that they received, as well as state dollars, to get more housing supply going. With interest rates potentially going up, maybe it slows things down a little bit in the market. Clearly, demand throughout COVID, it was taking place leading up to COVID, but it's just accelerated for building materials have added to costs and some supply chain issues. So I think there's a lot more work to be done. And the market dictates a lot of this, but clearly there's a focus in different levels of government to try to increase more production, more production, and thus more supply to meet demands.
So is Worcester hard because of the stadium, or what do you think? Because that's what other people think.
Yeah, no, I think it was a lot of evidence that even prior to the ballpark, that the Polar Park, that the city was growing and expanding, and people seeing that there was a relative an affordability, that there was a diversity in the city, that there was an arts and cultural scene, parks, entertainment, and you're in close proximity to almost anywhere in New England, relatively speaking, in New York City. So I think it was growing. There was investment. There was momentum in the city. The ballpark has clearly accelerated that with, hundreds of thousands of people coming into the city just last year because of the inaugural season. And one thing we've learned is when people come to the city who haven't been here before or been here in a long time, they come away saying, wow, that's very different than the Worcester that I once knew or I perceived.
Yes.
And people are getting priced out of the greater Boston area. And so they're looking at new options and places, and Worcester provides a lot of opportunity, and people enjoy the experience, generally speaking.
Yes. And being the second largest town in city in Massachusetts, I think it's about time, because they never used to have us in that high esteem before, but now we're looking good.
Second city in New England.
Yes. So we are glad everything is working out. Thank you very much for coming on our show. We just wanted to have a little conversation with you, Worcester, then and now, and how we go forward. So what do you foresee? What will be your predictions for Worcester now?
Well, I do think the momentum will continue. I think my vision and goal as a father of teenage daughters, as someone who is a grandson of immigrants who came to the city, is that Worcester continue to be a place where people who lived here and grew up here, can live here and raise their families, but also a place that continues to be welcoming for immigrants and for newcomers of all types, whether it be someone from a suburb or across the country or across the globe. So that keeps the city vibrant, interesting, and reminds, us all of our own families, lineage and background. So that's my vision. An interesting, fun, diverse Worcester that's growing and providing economic and educational opportunities for everyone. And the business community plays a big role in that in terms of jobs and economic ladders.
And thank you very much to you and Worcester. We are all immigrants, and Worcester have welcomed us, and we have thrived and doing well. So we really appreciate the town when we try to do anything we can to help the community. So we are thrilled to have you, and we want to thank you, Mr. Murray, for being with us today. And we thank all of you that are watching. And so this is a wrap for this segment. And our information will be in the description box. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any videos. We post videos every Thursday. See you for now. Bye for now. Thank you, Mr. Murray. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Juliana. Great to be with you.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.